down today. Recent scrims would suggest that NaVi are finally finding and matching the pace of Acend. Can they do it in competitive play, though?
Perhaps you can take some solace for NaVi. Friday, they limped through pools. They looked dominant on Saturday, not dropping a single map. But then you look at Ascend's form. They haven't dropped a single map all tournament long here. What can NaVi do here to break the chain?
I think NaVi have been dissecting the gameplay of Acend. They've been looking at starting strategies. They've got Wonderboy in as the coach, and he's been doing a lot of work as we kick things off with Recharge Ball. Fun fact, this is the only map and mode that NaVi have ever beaten Acend in competitive play out of these 5 that we are playing in this winners bracket final.
Looking at Shady's Twitch title recently, easy 100k was what he says. Is that perhaps overconfidence here? Is he overlooking this NaVi team? We're about to find out. Winners finals underway.
Keep a keen eye on starting strategy here. There's a lot of work that's been done by the coach of NaVi, Wonderboy. He's been looking around at what can be done, and a camouflage has already been secured. That's job 1 done by your coach.
2 go down for NaVi. 1 on the cards for Acend. Camouflage, though, still in play for Kimbo. Looking for that shock rifle, securing it, firing a warning shot down towards pipes, but it will not connect.
All still on its spot at the moment. No one dare grab it, as there's not really been enough slays either side. It's been very scrappy just to begin with, but a trade there coming through, and Shaady getting the initial kill means that maybe Acend can start to make a breakthrough.
2 down for NaVi once more. Lqgend and Snipedrone in the respawn screen, waiting to get back involved once more. Jimbo comes back in, but unfortunately Sica takes down Kimbo. Shock rifle's going to transfer hands, but we've still yet to see a team pick up the ball.
I think once Acend get 3 down, then you're going to start to see the move. As I say that, 3 are down and they get the ball, but there is someone there and waiting. But Sica says, see you later, sunshine, and somehow it's still alive.
Sica getting freaky with it. That's exactly what you need to do here. Take down this NaVi roster as he misgrapples there. Will that bite him in the backside now as he clambers his way back towards pipes and unable to help his teammate, but 1 shot to the spine is going to help take care of Kimbo, make it 2. Double kill secured for Sica, ball in hand along with shock rifle. I'd like to see him pass this off to a teammate.
And as we get a slight pause in play as NaVi are on the Recharge screen, just to go back to what Clutch was talking about on the desk, Recharge has not been great for NaVi. Even though this is one of the only maps they've beaten Acend in competitive play out of the 5 they're playing right now, we know Recharge is not where they're comfortable. If they were to lose here, things get a lot worse when you go into game number 2. But right now, it's still not a massive lead for Acend. It's only 20 points, and NaVi have been able to break that setup.
20 seconds then. Now NaVi register their first points on the board. They've lost a couple of teammates. They've also not been able to compete the camouflage, not being successful. Second time of asking. Camouflages now stand at 1-1. But can Sica do more with it than Kimbo was able to? He's already locked in one of the Jimbo with fresh 4 shots, but gets shut down by 2 Foxy.
What is interesting is when you look at the 3 times that these teams have played each other on this map as well, it's gone in favor of Acend twice, and both of those times it was a 2-1 victory. The one time NaVi won this competitive play, it was a 2-0. So we really need to see them get this first round on the board.
Well, they've cut away at that lead now. Only 5 seconds the difference after these early opening engagements. Neither team dictating the pace thus far. It's been back and forth. That's exactly what we want to see in this series. Jimbo picks up Shaady in the feed. Can Snipedrone making a meal of this one, and it's going to be a trade. 2 for 2. 2v2 on the map. Ball rotation coming through.
Yeah, really good movement here from NaVi, recognizing the presence of Acend on the map and bringing this ball over to an area where they can play it if they need to. At least play it successfully anyway, and there it will go from 2 Foxy. Sword is up if he wants it as a reward, but at the moment it looks like he's just focusing on helping the rest of the team.
Drops the ball into the drink. Resets the map. Hello, Shaady.
See ya.
He's gone for a dive. Okay, pal. We'll see you in 10 seconds or so. Thanks for stopping by. 40 seconds now for NaVi. This round 1 looking good so far. But Snipedrone and co looking to stop that setup as quick as possible. But Jimbo picks up one of the feed, but 3 dead. Jim, last man alive, top tower. And he's been milked all the live long day. Gets a trade. But unfortunately now, Acend have blue setup.
NaVi into the respawn screen, and Lqgend is just going to do what he can to give information to the rest of the team. He gains the information just through grenades, I think, that he heard to his right, and that's why we're seeing the rotation from him now. Bring this back towards pipes, but you've got to be careful just in case there is a NaVi player lurking in the waters. I think Jimbo is going to be the closest to do something.
Shots go down. 2 Foxy successful this time. NaVi have secured that third camouflage. Jimbo has it locked in his chest, that cloak of invisibility. What can he do with it? Shock rifle in his hands, lining up Snipedrone. Will he peek and get his face tased? He gets sizzled up a little bit, it gives him a tickle. Jimbo opts to get a different line of sight as a result of that and locks in and should lock in this kill. Makes a meal of it though. Second bite of the cherry enough to take down Shaady.
Kimbo at least gets the trade. Good work from one of your lead slayers in your team. That will allow the team to maneuver around him and try and get this ball once more. But at 46 to 49, oh sorry, 40 to 49, excuse me, NaVi still have a very narrow lead. But Acend, if they can get the trades, they might be able to get some more points on the board. But I'm really impressed with how NaVi have responded to the start. Acend, they had control, they had a 20-point lead. It wasn't looking too great, but NaVi slowed things down, they assessed their options, and they're right back ahead of this game.
Ahead by exactly 16 seconds. The clock could start to be a factor very soon. 1 minute and 50 seconds and losing time all this while. Trades come through, 2 for 3 this time. NaVi have 2 members still on the map and they're going to look to score some more points and get this blue set up once more. But unfortunately, 2 Foxy goes down underpass.
A lot of the times when we see these two teams play against each other, the clock becomes a factor. Very rarely are either side able to get to that 100-point mark, and that's because they are so closely contested, and the way they work each other off spawns, and they make it very difficult for that ball to be picked up after it's been played in the middle of the map.
Respectful and Sica trade out. It was a bit ugly at times. Repulsor play, a sticky grenade, but both will go down. 1v1 in pipe. Snipedrone says, see you later, pal, and picks up 1 more kill onto 2 Foxy. 60 seconds to 40 now. 20 the lead for NaVi. Can they keep and shut down this Acend roster? What a statement it would be if they could secure round 1. That we have a series on our hands, but now all of a sudden 3 dead. Acend have ball.
Very mature from Snipedrone as well. Could have tried to challenge to go for a triple, but he knows there's far more on the line. They're just going for montage clips at this point. He's starting to really deal some damage to this NaVi roster now. It's something that Lethal spoke about on the desk as well, that Snipedrone is so important with the routes that he takes and the avenues that he's going to be maneuvering the way around the map.
Oh!
And Shaady picks up a double kill.
4 dead now for NaVi. We're going to see a lead change. Acend take the lead. They only require what's going to be 25 seconds. NaVi come up off the respawn. They've only got one or so more pushes left, or round 1 goes towards Acend.
Look at this setup though. Shaady watching one side, Snipedrone the other side. NaVi've got to pick and choose as to who they want to try and take. Personally, I would not go anywhere near Snipedrone, so instead they face on Shaady. They've done some damage, but the ball is still getting time.
Ball still getting time. Can they get close to him before the time runs out? They only require 4 more seconds. He's scampering away. Can he? Yes, they can. They've secured it. 1 second, though, is all Acend need to secure round 1. They can ill afford to drop the ball now.
Massive play from Respectful to get that beat down, get that ball. They can still win this round. Acend, they thought that was done and dusted. They thought they had done enough. Now, off the spawn, they need to try and break this. Respectful's got to go away, though. There are so many players around him.
So many players around him. He's dropped ball out towards batteries. Is there a player on hand to get the touch? Acend are going to drop on it very shortly. It's going to be Lqgend.
Oh!
He picks it up, but he's gone down.
So close. Is there anyone else? Grenades are going to be there. Finally, you see the touch as Snipedrone make sure that Acend get the first round on the board here in Recharge Oddball, which was a very back and forth game. It was in NaVi's hands, then quite literally in Acend's.
An absolute slugfest in round 1. Both these teams have come to play. It's Championship Sunday, baby.
So many grenades to start with. We talk about starting strategies. NaVi seem to have a very clear idea of how they want to pick up this camouflage. But can they secure it 2 rounds in a row? No, it looks like it's going to get burnt. And Jimbo's just going to have to try and work with what he can here. NaVi, 3 dead. Acend seem to have got the better of them on that occasion.
3 dead apiece, though, all of a sudden. And 2 Foxy. What can he do to influence this game on this life? Couple of grenades go down. Not going to pick up anybody, but now a 1v1 with Lqgend. Already down to no shields. 1 burst to the skull is going to be enough. But Snipedrone's picked up 2 in the feed. They're answering back once more. No team able to secure the ball so far.
You can really see how much both teams respect each other here, Shaady, because that's why we're not seeing any scrappy time. No one believes they can pick up the ball and get away with it, realistically. You're seeing 8 of the best players in Europe. 8 of the best players in the world. I'll say it. I do think that, you know, these are players who should be achieving top 8 in the international competition as well. You've got so much respect there that you're not going to go for anything stupid. You can't take any unnecessary risks in a game like this.
Acend have weighed up their options and they've assessed. This is not a risk to pick up the ball now. 15 seconds registered for them. 2 Foxy goes down the feed. That's going to stop this NaVi push. At least make it a lot weaker than it could have been. Trade comes through pipes. Now we've got Kimbo in a 1v1. Needs to win it and doesn't. He gets shut down. But Respectful's picked up one elsewhere towards Yellow Stairs, and Sica's looking to clear house.
Yeah, and Sica, if he can get at least one of these kills, that puts Acend in a great stead to try and pick up some ball time here. But Snipedrone actually gets duped a little bit by Foxy. Thankfully, there was a trade. Otherwise, that could have been very detrimental for NaVi's chances indeed. But Acend have got the advantage when it comes to spawns here. They're far closer to the ball. They're far quicker to the ball, and that means they can pick up some of this scrappier time.
Lethal mentioned their speed and agility, and sometimes they play off the cuff, but right here, right now, it's working to their benefit.
Yeah, I think Lethal's been focusing on that a lot throughout this tournament about Ascend's lack of structure at times and how they like to play off the cuff, how they like to play quick and just try and react to what their opponents are doing. But when you play against a team like NaVi, who are very structured, who do play in a very assessive way, Acend actually love that, because then they can just react on what NaVi are doing to them.
Looking to exploit the weaknesses in NaVi's game, and so far in rounds 1 and 2, they're doing it to some great success. 48 seconds now, NaVi have secured the ball, looking to rotate it and keep it locked in here. Camouflage in the chest of Kimbo.
Camouflage will go out. Needler is there. Opting not to pick it up. It's something I've noticed throughout this entire tournament. We've not seen much Needler action, despite the fact it is very powerful. It's a conversation I had with Clutch, as Kimbo will secure that one. At least he's done the job regardless of Camouflage.
2 down for both teams. It's a straight 2v2 dogfight on the map here. Snipedrone scampers towards pipes. 1v1 with 2 Foxy here, and 2 Foxy shuts him down.
Big fight from 2 Foxy. There's a lot of massive individual engagements that are happening, and 2 Foxy actually will manage to just catch out Shaady, who was unaware of Foxy just hiding around the corner. And these are some big engagements to be won. It can really propel your team into a fantastic position, give you some momentum.
18 seconds registered now for NaVi. But they're fighting tooth and nail for it. These points are not coming easy. Snipedrone opting to stay alive now. Bottom Mangler pit will look to re-engage now very shortly, and does. Picks up Kimbo in the feed. Jimbo, the last man alive, and he's going to be desperately trying to play defense with the ball. He's got a big fight in his hands, and he comes out on top.
Jimbo takes down one of his ex-teammates in Snipedrone, and what an important fight it was, because now this time is going to start to chunk up a little bit for NaVi, and they've got to make up quite a deficit, down by 25 at the moment, but that can all be gathered up in just one setup, and with the kill feed going the way it is, and Camouflage maybe going to be a big factor in a short while, that's going to be a huge kill from Jimbo.
Having a huge round. 12 kills, 4 assists, and 7 deaths for Jimbo, and now looking to secure the Camouflage. He's been successful, but can he get away? The answer's no.
Something that Onset pointed out to me earlier on today is that NaVi very good in the early and mid game, but they seem to crumble towards the latter stages of rounds and series and maps, especially when they're playing against NaVi, Acend, excuse me, because they just recognize that they've never done it before. Remember, if you're watching this for the first time, NaVi have never beaten Acend in a series, so there's a lot of kind of responsibility on your shoulders in every single map.
Every single map, every single gunfight it feels when you play against the caliber of player that Acend have on show. 47 seconds then for NaVi, just about to tick over to 50. They're closing the gap, they're eating away at that lead.
As we do go into that latter stage of the game, and they do have the control of the ball, what will they do with it? Respectful in a really good position that he can work with the rest of the team, but unfortunately Acend, they just seem to be everywhere. It doesn't matter what corner you turn, there is another member of this roster that is there to drill shots into you.
They do not let you breathe. You get smothered. There's no free space on the map, and as a result of that, we've seen them amount 71 seconds now. This second round just as close as the first, but will the end game go the same way? Snipedrone in pipes, his home at times. Surveys the land, knows there's a player down bottom pit. That call out has come through for him. Opted to turn his attentions towards long hole. Shaady though with the shock rifle fires a couple towards Respectful, has him down to half shields. Pop that shield. Snipedrone, who was long haul, picks up that kill, and Shaady sizzles the skull of one player. Kimbo, last man alive.
And I was about to say that NaVi maybe will want to try and maneuver their way around towards long haul to try and avoid this shock rifle. They are spawning over towards Turbine though, but that means they're just going to be funneled into a place where they can be grenaded consistently. Shady's got to keep hitting shots, and he will do so. And this ball has been gathered up, and Acend will take map number 1 here against NaVi.
That second round so comfortable for Acend. NaVi looked good in patches. That early to mid game, they kept it nice and tight, but like you said, end game, that's where the trouble came for NaVi.
Yeah, and It really is concerning when you look at the roster of NaVi and you look at those kind of final periods and how they do drop off. And I don't know whether it's nerves, I don't know whether it's pressure, but there's clearly something there when they do play Acend. Granted, I do think that this was a better game type for Acend, even though, yeah, okay, it's one of the only maps NaVi have won out of this series in competitive history. We know they're not great at Recharge. And we look at recent scrims, we look at recent results, and I do think the series layout gets better the further we get into this one. But I think NaVi will still be disappointed they weren't able to put up a bigger fight.
2 players highlighted before the series. One for NaVi was Kimbo. And we heard Wes say, if you're going to have a chance to win, Kimbo, the damage dealer, the main slayer, has to be on point. And in that Recharge game, he had a struggle.
A struggle with kills, but he did get 20 assists, so I guess I'll allow it. 7.4k damage for both Jimbo and Respectful as they tried to do things, but there he is, Snipedrone at 9,000. He is quite literally over 9,000 as he does it yet again. His positioning, the way he plays this game, it is a joy to behold.
We compare the 2 players that were on show and highlighted before the series. Snipedrone versus Kimbo. Snipedrone had 3k more damage than the German.
I think that says a lot, though. They are different players, even though they're both sometimes the main slayers. They are the damage dealers. I think they play in an entirely different style. But when the rest of Acend were doing what they did, it just allowed and played into the hands of Snipedrone and what he wanted to achieve. And he just sits back and laughs sometimes with how he gets to play the game of Halo. I think anyone would enjoy playing alongside these 3 French superstars, and Snipedrone has loved every single moment of it.
We posed the question months ago, are the French players going to start to learn English? Well, actually, what I think needs to happen is Snipedrone needs to pick up Rosetta Stone and start learning French.
I think it's a very valid point.
Yeah.
And I think it was something that Clutch brought up as well, that realistically, if this is going to be a team who moves on into international competition, gets into top 6, and maybe tries to break that EU record once more, then maybe Snipedrone does need to start learning French. I'm sure he would have picked up a few things
top
here
rouge,
or there,
top
like,
rouge,
you know,
red.
baguette tastes good, all the standard stuff. But next map is an important one here.
Yeah, Live Fire Slayer is game 2. NaVi need to bounce back. They do not want to go down 2-0 in the series here. What can you tell me about it?
I've got a lot of interesting statistics. I can look at scrim statistics, I can look at competitive statistics, or I can look at most recent results. All of them go against NaVi when it comes to this occasion. They've not been able to ever beat them on this map. NaVi have always lost this map and mode in competitive HCS history, but in scrims it's about 50-50. So I think you can take from scrims and recent results and how NaVi have been improving and they've been able to assess what Acend have been doing in recent times. But when you look at actually what happens when it gets to the nitty-gritty, NaVi often lose it. And again, that goes back to that point of that kind of pressure scenario. Is it going to be a bit too much, this Winners Bracket Finals?
Let's take a step back then as we look at the series layout. Oddball Recharge, we've seen it. It was pretty convincing. 2-0. Live Fire Streets game 2 and Strongholds Streets will be our game 3, and if required, we hope we require them, CTF Aquarius and Slayer Bazaar. What do NaVi need to do now to break the mold and get that game 2 win?
It's been close in scrims, like 50-47s, 50-48s, and again, it comes down to that final period of play. There needs to be a little bit more structure and an idea of how they want to achieve that victory. It sounds crazy, but in the start and mid-game, there's a very clear plan for NaVi. They know their starting strategy, they know what they want to do in mid-game, it's just get kills. But when it comes down to those final moments, it's almost like they're a little bit reluctant to take the initiative and be the team to grasp that moment and get those kills. Instead, it's Acend who are usually making that play to win the game.
NaVi cannot be hesitant here. They have to be proactive in our game 2. They find themselves down by a game. Acend rarely lose many. NaVi hoping to change things here.
NaVi would love to change things here, and actually when you look at games 3, 4, and 5, if NaVi were to pick up a victory here, they become slight favourites in my mind just from recent results and how they've been playing in scrims, but it's very different when you look at competitive history. But I think NaVi, they know that these opening 2 games are not great for them.
Here is Snipedrone then, the man that performed a miracle in the last series, or last game, excuse me, 9,000 damage. Jimbo picks up 1, 2, Foxy another, but Snipedrone's got the snipe rifle to try and even the playing field here, and we're seeing slays go down. Kimbo gets the wiggles, Snipedrone locks in 1. Early engagements 3-2 in favour of NaVi, but we're all tied up all of a sudden, and now Acend take the lead, 3 dead.
Sica, I remember him having an amazing series on Oddball Live Fire, and he really does seem to recognize how he wants to play this map. He does quietly go about his business at times, but when he pops off, oh boy does he pop off well.
Lqgend attempting to pop off that sniper rifle and camouflage combination. Game slows down. NaVi holding tight. Waiting for players to overstep, setting traps. Body shot to Respectful. Shaady gets the first pick. That's going to spark the collapse. Kimbo in a brawl gets one. Respectful takes down Lqgend. That's shaken out in favor of NaVi. They just have to slow it down a touch.
And sometimes you do just get that slower pace of play when the camouflage has been secured because the one team who hasn't picked it up is very reluctant to push out. They're worried about where that camo might be. They're checking over their shoulder every minute. Now Respectful's got the sniper rifle. What can he do with it?
A couple of warning shots go down. The answer with what can he do? Not a lot on this occasion. Heatwave picked up by Jimbo. Two of his teammates are in the respawn screen though. He's going to have to wait for them. He's unable to do so. His compatriot Snipedrone eliminates him.
I do think the Heatwave's going to be very important. I say it once and I'll say it again. You've got to focus on it. If you are any team who wants any success on this map, it can be the difference maker, especially with the Mangler being GA'd by teams. It's very difficult to try and get past a Heatwave. It really does hit hard in those close range quarter combat.
Camouflage about to pop, and that is why we see both these teams tip over that way, but 4 dead for NaVi. Catastrophe.
Even worse so when you look at the fact that Snipedrone's been able to pick up the camouflage and he's got Heatwave. And look how confident he is. He knows that Sica was in trouble over there, so he tried to get some sort of distraction. It didn't pay off on this occasion, but it shows that Snipedrone, he is a team player. There's a lot of kind of stigma around Snipedrone baiting his teammates and he's only focusing on himself. That is a very selfless play, essentially giving up the camo, and he's rewarded with a double.
Big plays with the camouflage. Still has a little bit to play with too. Looking to clear out top tower. He wants to be the warden of tower now. 2 Foxy picks up Shaady though. Snipedrone is not overzealous to that engagement. You can see why 2 members of NaVi positioned back there. They pick up a kill, but it's not going to be enough. But still only a 1-kill game with 2 kills swinging towards NaVi.
And this is great for NaVi, right? You stay within a touching distance of Acend. You don't allow them to get out of control here because we see so many Slayers just snowball into a position where the better team manages to get the power up consistently, manages to get the sniper rifle, the Heatwave, and suddenly it becomes a steak dinner. But NaVi, they stay just within it here, only 1 behind.
A player we highlight as sometimes one of the best players in Europe, Shaady, having a bit of a slow start to this Slayer. 2 kills, 2 assists, and 5 deaths. He needs to slow it down. He could be a trigger point for Acend. When things are going good, they're going great, but sometimes he leaves kills out there that he doesn't really need to, and a couple go down, and Shady's going to be one of them.
I think with a map like Livefire, it's very easy to consistently run off spawn and think you're flanking and think you're going to help your teammate, but quite often you run into trouble and 2 or 3 members of the opposition team are there laughing, waiting as they pummel you into the ground, and sometimes even teabag you as well. Maybe that's just my matchmaking experience, I don't know, but either way, 21-21, and this game really is on a knife edge.
A 1-kill game. Snipe rifle in the hands of the German Kimbo. What can he do to help his team secure this win? He's not going to be able to lock that kill in. Shaady scampers away somehow with his life. Camouflage up on the podium. And now Kimbo's got intentions of picking that up, but he's got himself in all big trouble. He's been shut down. Snipe rifle's going to get transferred. Camouflage is going to be secured. All the goodies for Acend.
That's camouflage again, by the way. NaVi have not really been able to secure one and really work with it. Whereas Acend have been able to have so much fun and freedom because of it as well. But Sica at the moment is just trying to avoid a Heatwave. It's not an enjoyable game for him whatsoever. And if he does go down, then hats off to NaVi. A very successful period of play for them.
It looked as though Sica's number was up, but he still managed to get that trade. So damage control comes through. Not too bad, not too shabby. 2 Foxy. Snipe rifle now. Seems to be caught between 2 minds of playing tower or playing mid-bridge. He's chosen the latter this time, over towards Nest. Respectful goes down the feed. Now you're going to have to slow things down.
And I cannot stress enough how important this map 2 is. As 2 Foxy starts to heat up with a sniper rifle. A couple of body shots will whiff that one. And it's probably going to have to give this sniper rifle away.
He does drop it. Both him and Jimbo hit the respawn screen. They fade to black. Just a 2-kill game here. Make it 3 as Sica puts another one in the grave. Going to be respectful this time. This game's on a knife's edge.
And if it does become a 5-6 kill game in favor of Acend, that's when you start to worry really for the boys in yellow and black. Acend very good at closing these games out, especially when they have a little cushion to work with. They've only ever lost 12 maps in the history of Halo Infinite. So a reverse sweep would be so difficult for NaVi. They need to make sure they win map number 2.
4-kill game though. It is starting to get away from them. When Shady's hitting body shots like that, shuts one down, but Kimbo gets the trade. Heat waves coming through though and frying Kimbo to the core. But somehow, some way, respectful on hand to help his teammate. But camouflage again in an Acend chest.
It's almost like rinse repeat at this point, isn't it? Acend are going to be more than happy to be able to work with this every time. And what a reward that is for Snipedrone. Camouflage and the sniper rifle. And that means he could go on a tear here.
2 kills secured. Kimbo answers back, but it's not for long as he's sent all the way down to the boatman. Respectful. And indeed, NaVi spawn up towards tower. Snipedrone gets that information for his team. He has the wig wobbler now, looking to go to work. He's clocked in. Camouflage dissipates, but the damage was done. Still a 4-kill game.
Look how NaVi are playing this as well. They're very reluctant to put themselves in open sight lines because they know the sniper rifle's there, but they've got sights on it. This is a big push from NaVi.
Big push. 2 Foxy comes out on top though, but it's traded this time. A huge engagement goes down in garage. 2 Foxy comes out on top this time. A 3-kill game right now.
Has to stay alive, but can't. 42-39. Sniper rifle is going to be there if they want to use it, but Foxy says, you know what, screw the sniper rifle. I've got the heat wave, which can do far more damage in this period.
Heat wave. What can he do with it? Lqgend just evaded the attentions. Body shot goes in. 2 Foxy drops out of trouble. Little trapdoor, but Snipedrone wants a piece. He wants a bit of the beef.
Everything slowed down slightly, but there's a big scuffle going on bottom middle. If a bait and switch is successful, which it is.
Beautiful.
NaVi bring this within 1. And even though Acend are pressuring, we're now at a 43-43. It's all tied up, and NaVi have all the power weapons. The sniper rifle gets handed over to 2 Foxy.
What can 2 Foxy do? Potentially has the game in his hands. Just YY is at the worst possible time, and as a result of that, Acend pick up 2 unanswered kills. 45-44 now.
Needs to stay alive, needs to relay the rest of the information to the team that he's being challenged here in-house, but it's just such a good push from Acend. They get a 3-kill advantage, they know the sniper rifle's out, and now they're going to look to collapse on spawns here because NaVi are on a split spawn.
3 kills is all that's required. Shady's got the camouflage. No. Acend have secured it again. He's got the heat wave, but Kimbo's picked up 1 in the feed. This camouflage play could be huge while Lqgend picks up 1. Kimbo's gone down 2. It's a 1-kill game. Into the spine. Snipedrone secures it. Game 2 secured for Acend. They're 1 game away from grand finals.
And I said this was a big game for NaVi. Reverse sweeping Acend. Reverse sweeping any team is never an easy feat, but to do it against Acend with the statistics that I've been putting out, they've only ever lost 12 maps in the entirety of Halo Infinite so far. If they were to lose 3 back-to-back, then that throws all those stats out of the window, but that's the job that NaVi have to do here. It was a close game, but that seems to be the same old story for NaVi. It's close through the mid-game, but then we get to those final moments, those sniper shots. What a difference that could have made if 2 Foxy had hit one of those.
What a difference a YY can make. He would have been able to lock in that body shot, at least tie up those engagements. But looking at the stats, Dan, what jumps off the page? I see Snipedrone again.
Snipedrone, he bursts through the page, doesn't he?
He does.
On a regular occasion. 17 kills. And again, just the assists coming through from the rest of the team. It's all well and good it being a close 50-46, but what matters is the victory at the end of the day. What matters is it's 2-0 in favor of Acend as they look to try and secure themselves yet another grand final here in Europe.
Shaady having a slow game by his standards, only putting in less than 3k damage, but his 2 teammates, particularly Lqgend and Snipedrone, dragging him through there on that Slayer. Game 3 is what our attentions are going to turn to now, and you said the first 2 games were going to be so important. Streets Strongholds is up next as we take a look at the highlights. It was back and forth. It was close, but still no cigar for the guys in yellow and black.
The biggest takeaway has to be camouflage as well. I mean, it was going into Acend's hand every single time, and the kills they were able to get because of it, sometimes it was a double, sometimes it was a single, but that's enough to give you that kind of 5-6 kill gap that they were able to win by in the end. And I think NaVi will be left kicking themselves a little bit. They weren't able to secure those camos.
Well, 2 games in the books. Recharge, Oddball, Slayer on live fire. They've gone towards Acend. Our attentions now turn very quickly to Streets, Strongholds, and Acend 1 game away from securing that ticket to grand finals, and indeed the insurance policy of a bracket reset. If you fancy NaVi to win this tournament, They really want to do it in winners finals.
Strongholds Streets then as map number 3, and I spoke about stats, I spoke about scrims. They've played each other against, on this map, 5 times in scrims. 4 times it's gone in favor of Acend, but most recently, NaVi did win this one. And I think that says a lot. I think that says how they've been changing things, because traditionally, Stronghold Streets has been one of Acend's best game types. We've heard American pros say how amazing Acend have been on this. If NaVi are able to take them down in the most recent scrim, which was just last week, that gives them great hope going into map number 3 here.
NaVi have to do it here and now in this winners finals, or they're dropping down to play Quadrant. And that's not going to be an easy task either. There's no easy games left. 20 teams entered this super. We're down to 3. Back on board with Snipedrone. Here we go.
So Acend are going to start from the higher side here of Streets, which some would argue is the better side, and they've started the better side as well. 2 kills for them. Respectful manages to get 1, but if rockets go in the hand here of Acend, then that's not going to be the great start for NaVi.
Rockets in the hands indeed of Lqgend. 3 went down for NaVi for the worst possible start, and now all these strongholds starting to get transferred, and desperately NaVi are trying to catch them their tails. They're fighting tooth and nail, but unfortunately the early engagements have gone down, and Acend have that triple cap, and it's gone from bad to worse.
It's gone so bad to start this game for NaVi because they have to work so hard just to get 1 single stronghold, which remember will not score them points. Now they have to decide, do we try and fight our way towards B? It looks like they are going to take that fight, and Jimbo, I love this positioning. Just watching out, making sure no one can dive bottom middle and really disrupt the push over towards B.
2 strongholds in control of NaVi, but 2 members have gone down. Bulldog barking over towards Arcade, and Jimbo has to settle for a trade. And that means that Arcade starts to transition for Lqgend, and indeed Acend. Grenade's going to hit him in the mouth, but not going to be enough to send him to the respawn screen.
It's a very fast-paced and frantic map and mode is Stronghold Streets, and that Bulldog is going to be one of the key areas to victory. If you can have that in your hands and you can have it with a player who is confident to get up close and personal, you really will find extra seconds with those strongholds. A and C is going to be in control of NaVi now, but that probably leaves Acend with an option of, do we want to push A or do we go down towards C? It looks like A is the option here.
Can they secure A? No pressure coming through. B and C, though, have flipped towards NaVi, so all of a sudden that option that they had at B, they were unable to defend it while attacking A. Rocket's about to pop. Lqgend hits a 1v1, wins that engagement. Kimbo shuts him down, though. 3 dead for NaVi. Bulldog in the hands of Acend. Rockets, no doubt, in the hands of Acend. They've got all the goodies. Oh, Jimbo's picked them up.
Jimbo manages to find some rockets, but he hits the wall, which does get the trade, but there'll still be 1 rocket left, I think, that maybe someone can work with. And there is that final rocket. Fired wayward, doesn't connect with anyone. Acend scoring once more.
B and C in control. Lqgend, some lovely shots sent over towards Jimbo. Can he get this trade as well? Yes, he can. 3 go down once more for NaVi. 2 down for Acend. Numbers advantage, and now Respectful getting C.
And that keeps happening. We keep seeing 3 members of NaVi down, but only 2 of Acend. Acend are winning this numbers game in every single engagement right now, and that's why NaVi are struggling to really put points on the board. It's not a massive lead for Acend at the moment, but if that keeps happening, that lead will very quickly look like a difficult one for NaVi to get back into.
Acend dictating the pace. They're a different breed of animal. Snipedrone sends Respectful packing. Shaady goes down, trying to get touch tight with his team, and now we're seeing an engagement go down in C.
Oh,
it's
wow.
going to be Snipedrone. If you're going to take a 1v1 against any of these members in this current form, it's not going to be against Snipedrone. I tell you something, he's been cooking all tournament long, and he's one of the main reasons they never look like dropping a single map, but Lqgend wins that fight against 2Foxy and secures the reset.
I guess the reset, so those points were still racking up with the trip cap. Acend are starting to break away from NaVi here. And we can talk about scrims, we can talk about how good NaVi have looked in recent times, but when we get to competitive competition, Acend just look like a different team. It's almost like they don't care when they're playing scrims.
B and C, though, NaVi have managed to catch their tails here. They're scoring. 2 go down, make it 3 for Acend. Snipedrone, though, sends 2Foxy away, also puts Jimbo in the grave. It's 2 down apiece here, but this next engagement's going to be huge. It's going to be Kimbo in it, and he gets eliminated, and so does Respectful. They're winning the numbers game again, and as a result, A and B back in Acend control.
3 are down. Jimbo's the last remaining player, and because they know he's here, they can collapse on him and refocus on where they think the spawns may be, whether it's down towards purple or station. But they could just watch, see, they can gather up this time Acend as they tick closer and closer to that grand final.
Shaady with those rockets. Respectful creeping up. Just under the lip, under the eyesight. He hasn't seen him, and Respectful has gotten that back whack. This next set of rockets could be huge of blowing a hole in Acend's defense.
Naughty little man, Respectful. I love that from you. But what can you do with the rockets? What can you do with that reward? It's such a big play. And okay, maybe this can lead the charge for NaVi to start to bring things back. We talk about how NaVi, they've not been great in that late game. Well, they're really going to have to break that curse here in map number 3.
Respectful sends Snipedrone away. Sends him packing. Bulldog will transfer control. Still 1 rocket in the chamber. Gonna pick up 2 with it. Locks in a killing spree too. Respectful trying to claw his team right back into this with that Bulldog. Locks in 1 more onto Lqgend. And now looks to transfer B.
What a passenger play that was from Respectful. Wins the rocket launcher, gets 3 kills, also has the Bulldog, killing spree, secures the strongholds. That's what you need from your players. That's what you need them to do. Step up to try and say to Acend, hey, we are here to play. We can match you stride for stride.
Is it too little too late? Acend, they've got 174 points and counting. Again, they've got numbers advantage. Respectful and Kimbo combined to even the odds here. It's a 2v2 momentarily as Respectful comes off the respawn screen and soars up middle.
There's so much to do, and unfortunately Acend have been everywhere in the map right now. It doesn't matter which stronghold you try and push. Acend seem to have an answer, and they seem to respond very quickly. As Respectful, if he can hit some shots here and get a double, that might just be enough for NaVi to try and get B or C here and start putting some more points on the board. But again, Acend get another reset.
Rockets for Snipedrone. Turns his attentions back over towards B. Has to use 2 of them on the 2 Foxy. That's going to be good enough to delay the push and ensure NaVi can secure B for the team. 190 to 55 though. It's a long road back, but NaVi have a chance.
Look how NaVi just backed away from B. They retreated and they said, look, we'll take that fight once more. They're not confident enough to stay within B and take the fight right to Acend. And Acend are going to mop that up all day because they not only are scoring points, but they're also picking up quite easy kills, to be honest.
Another fight goes down. Another Acend win. 4 fresh shots.
Wow.
Undo 3 4 straight into Respectful, and that means that he goes to the respawn screen. 207 points and counting, and they do not look like wiltering here.
211. And honestly, on the biggest stage, in one of the biggest finals that we've seen in Europe's history when it comes to prize money and the chance of getting to that grand final, this was arguably the biggest series we've seen for NaVi. Can they answer the dominance of Acend? And I think we are getting a very firm confirmation of who is the best in Europe right now.
The top dogs still. They've ascended to the top of the mountain. There's some hungry wolves trying to climb and close that gap. Every single time they get close, Acend swat them away. And they have to start that climb once more. Every time someone thinks they've worked out the puzzle, Acend flip the script and show you something else you haven't seen before. NaVi, though, they're on the back foot here. They need to stop the bleeding.
Can we see the first ever trip cap for NaVi? No, we can't, because we see one player just being a nuisance in B yet again. But NaVi, you know, this is possible. Even at the moment, it looks improbable. A comeback is definitely not out of the realms of possibility if they play this one perfectly. They're controlling A and C right now. It's awkward, but you can make it work. You've just got to transition to B when Acend move to either A or C.
Snipedrone knows he has all the time in the world just to play for Slays here. Not willing to overstep the mark and maybe risk losing more points. And as a result of that, he's prioritizing just staying alive here. Gonna try and secure this kill, unable to do so. Jimbo needs more of that and more from his team if they're gonna win this game.
Oh yes, and some more of that as Lqgend also taking a fight. And look at the confidence from this Acend roster. They'll take on 1v2s, they'll take on 1v3s. It does not matter as they are scoring yet again.
25 points then is all that's required. What can NaVi do to stop this? Snipedrone picks up 1. Respectful and 2 Foxy answer back, but Shaady makes sure he takes 1 with him for the ride. Jimbo tries desperately to get into B. Kimbo, last man alive. There are strongholds being transferred, but they're going the wrong way.
This would be the best comeback in the history of European Halo if we were to see NaVi get back into this one now, and they are trying their damned hardest. But Acend will take A, and they're holding B. They are scoring once more.
They only require 5 more points. 2 members go down. Make it 3. but B is being transferred. They've managed to get a member in there. Jimbo has snuck in to stop the scoring.
NaVi can't afford any mistakes now. They've got to watch every single stronghold. It becomes very difficult when Acend play in the pace that they do. And with one player going down, I think we start to see the beginning of the end now.
3 dead. Shady's transferring B. 1v1 for the ages here with Respectful. And Shaady comes out on top. They're going to win the game. 250 to 106, I believe it was in the end. 113. A thoroughly impressive performance from Acend. They win 3-0, a clean sweep.
Acend do it again. Another grand finals. They still have yet to lose a map in this tournament, and they still are the thorn in the side of NaVi. Their record is incredible. After that series, they are now 121 map wins and 12 map losses in Infinite's history. Things just get better and better for Acend, and they are looking more and more likely the further we get into this tournament as our super champions. But they still have one match to do in that grand final, but they've done half of the job.
And again, we look at the stats, Dan. It's the Snipedrone story again. It's 22 kills, 12 deaths, 7 assists. Does he ever switch it off?
Snipedrone, I don't think ever switches off. I think even when he's not playing Halo, he's still out BRing someone in the real world. And I would be worried if I was in a supermarket and I saw Snipedrone around the corner. They'd hit me with a back smack.
Oh, yeah.
This man does not switch off ever. 5.3k damage, but of course he did not do it alone. The rest of Acend were on top of their game, and it really was a dominant performance.